Hello, my name is Robert Smith, and I'm with New River Community College's Academic Assistants. And today we're going to be talking about temperature conversions. So generally speaking, when you're talking about temperature in chemistry, you're dealing with either Celsius, Fahrenheit, or Kelvin. Celsius is always written as degrees C. Fahrenheit is written as degrees F, and Kelvin is simply written as K. We do not use degrees when associating Kelvin. Having said that, we don't like Fahrenheit. Generally speaking, in any one of your chemistry courses, you'll only be dealing with Celsius or Kelvin. Fahrenheit will only be there to trick you up and try to allow for you to convert to Celsius or Kelvin as needed. More often than not, you'll use Kelvin, but there are a few formulas that involve Celsius. So let's look at this problem here. The first problem at the top. A certain alloy has a melting point of 225 degrees Celsius. What is its melting point in degrees Fahrenheit? Well, just as I stated in the last video, you'll want to start every problem by writing down your givens, your knowns. So you know that temperature is going to equal 225 degrees Celsius. It's very simple. Now the formula for converting from Celsius to Fahrenheit is a somewhat simple formula, as long as you can remember that there is a 9 that is associated with Fahrenheit and a 5 that is associated with Celsius. So in converting, we're going to look at 9 degrees Fahrenheit over 5 degrees Celsius. We're trying to convert to Fahrenheit, so the one that you're converting to is going to be in the numerator, and the one that you're converting from is going to be in the denominator. So for this particular one, we're going to do 9 degrees Fahrenheit over 5 degrees Celsius times the degrees Celsius plus 32. And that accounts for the difference when Celsius is 0, Fahrenheit is 32. Okay? So at this point, we're going to solve the equation in the conversion to Fahrenheit. So 9 degrees Fahrenheit over 5 degrees Celsius times 225 degrees Celsius plus 32. And this conversion results in a total temperature in Fahrenheit of 437 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty simple. And again, you'll find that simplicity when you're converting the other way around, when you're going from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So let's look at this problem. Helium has a boiling point of negative 452 degrees Fahrenheit. That's very cold. Helium likes to be in its gaseous state, even when it approaches absolute zero. So what is the temperature in degrees C? So again, we want to take our given. We know that the temperature is negative 452 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? And then we're going to want to convert it to degrees Celsius. So if you recall, the 5 is going to be associated with the degrees Celsius, and the 9 is associated with degrees Fahrenheit. So we need to get our Celsius up at the top so that we can convert to it. 5 degrees Celsius over 9 degrees Fahrenheit times the quantity of degrees Fahrenheit minus 32. That's a specific point for conversion from Fahrenheit to Celsius that you'll have to remember, that you need to include the quantity sign. that 5/9 is being applied to both the degrees Fahrenheit and to the 32. And in fact, it's easier to just go ahead and subtract whatever your degrees Fahrenheit is and subtract from it 32. So in our problem given above, we find that 5 degrees Celsius over 9 degrees Fahrenheit times negative 452 minus 32 is our conversion. And this is degrees Fahrenheit as well. So that brings us over to a more simplified version, which is 5 degrees Celsius over 9 degrees Fahrenheit times negative 484 degrees Fahrenheit. Because negative 452 minus 32 is going to give you negative 484. This in turn will result in your conversion being negative 269 degrees Celsius. That is the final answer. So let's do another one more, and it's going to involve converting to Kelvin from Celsius, which is probably the easiest conversion that you can do. So mercury has a melting point of negative 38.9 degrees Celsius. And what is its melting point in Kelvin? Well, let's look at what we know. We know that temperature is negative 38.9 degrees Celsius. When you're converting to Kelvin from Celsius, you're going to want to add 273.15 to the temperature value. So in this case, we're going to look at temperature equaling 273.15 plus the negative 38.9 degrees C. Okay? This is going to give us Kelvin. Simplified, all this is 234.3 Kelvin. Now you're asking yourself, how did I get that K in there when you still have the degrees Celsius? Well, if you look at the far end of the expression, you could theoretically write 1 Kelvin over 1 degrees Celsius. But because Kelvin and Celsius are direct relation to one another, there's no real need to do that. That's just a mental exercise. You'll just have to recognize that your Celsius will cancel out, and you'll be left with Kelvin. And that's all there is to it, to temperature conversions. If you wanted to convert from Kelvin to Celsius, it's just the opposite. You would do the degrees Kelvin, or the temperature in Kelvin, minus 273.15.